Welcome to Bold Beginnings, where we teach and show you how God works in our careers, what His purpose is for us, and why we should trust Him in everything that we do. I am here with my girlfriends.
Hey.
Jasmine is doing this, and she had no idea she was going to do this, y'all.
They trapped me.
It's like a fly of a moment. I was like, girl, since you're here.
Sit down, take a seat. We're just mixing some things up.
Yes,
mixing it around today, switching it up.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for saying yes. I don't know about that laugh. That's like,
She's nervous.
I don't know what to expect, so.
It's okay. We're just gonna conversate, have some girl talk, catch up.
Girl talk. Yes. Love it. I don't know. You're supposed to have some questions here.
I have some questions. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm
but
not.
first, before we get into those questions of kind of just getting to know us a little bit more.
Yes.
I want to know what your takeaway has been so far from how many episodes are we in? 6 episodes?
We're going on 6. This Tuesday
Yes.
is going to be episode 6.
So what has been your biggest takeaway from those episodes? What do you
Oh
say?
my gosh. There's been so many good takeaways from the episodes.
She's on the spot.
I'm just I'm just shocked, the people we've had in here, because you know that me and you kind of sit, we talk about it, we pray about it, right? Lord, we really want the right people to be in the seat, to be able, this is, like I said in the beginning of episode 1, it's a learning moment, not just for our viewers and listeners, but for us.
Right.
I would say my biggest is building a relationship with God, and just kind of staying on that path. Like Rob talked a lot about, relationships, right? Relationship with God, and that's kind of the journey I'm still in, and just trusting Him in everything that you do, because sometimes, it's hard to trust. It's really hard to trust sometimes, especially when you don't know the outcome. And so just everything we've been talking about in season 1 is obviously, work, life, God, number 1, but just trusting that you're on the right path, right? Without sometimes knowing, and I know that sounds crazy, right? I'm going to trust it. I don't know where I'm going, because we all want to be in control of where we're going.
Yeah, for sure.
And our future and our path. And with God, you don't know, right? With God, you don't know tomorrow or 2 hours from now. You have no idea. So just trusting that He is always there and He is guiding you and leading you has been my biggest takeaway. And it's increased my faith.
Yeah.
Trusting and not knowing and not worrying. I have more peace, because
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
you know
good.
what? I don't know what's going to happen, but I trust that you've already planned that and you're going to guide me there. And it's actually taken a lot of stress out of my life.
Good.
A lot of relief. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
yes. What about you, Ms. Fernandez?
I think my biggest takeaway, I think we've had some very powerful people on the show, and I think every time I leave feeling inspired and motivated, because I think it's powerful to share our faith with each other, because I feel like it fuels the faith within us, right? And even speaking about our own testimony to others, I feel like is so powerful, because it reminds us of what God has already done in our life. And if He can do that, we could trust Him in the moment that we're in now, And so that's been probably one of my biggest takeaways. I loved when Rob said, I might butcher this, but he did say something about you can't, basically people feel when you're inauthentic and authentic, right? So when you're leading, to build relationships with people so that you can be a better leader, basically is the gist of what, something that I took away from Rob's. But I've also loved what Jessica mentioned, if you can't beat them, join them, lead it, and then change it.
I love that. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was very powerful.
I was like, join them,
yes.
and then change it.
Yes.
Of course.
Lead it, change it. Yep, I love that. But yeah, I think after every single episode that we've done, I've definitely have felt more inspired to continue to follow Christ, because I know in my life I struggle some days, and like some days I'm on fire. There's days where I'm like, and so having this and the platform and the people in it has really helped to
That.
strengthen that.
I love it.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm like, next question.
Jasmine.
She's gonna go on.
And no, we don't forget about Jasmine here.
There's nothing on it. They're blank.
She's like, I'm just sitting here.
I'm for emotional support. No,
You've been watching episodes, right?
Yes. So I loved the one where you all were talking with Marcia, just how she's talking about just how her life is transitioning, and it's just really, it was really helpful and insightful just to hear how, even when you've been walking with God for this long, and even being married for this long, and different things like that, just the different transitions that people go through, and just how God's helping you with that. And I feel like, in my life, to a smaller degree, like I'm going through transitions too. And then just to kind of hear her testimony, and just kind of how not only has she processed change in the past, but how she's like in that moment of change now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, it's kind of reassuring, because like Marcia is amazing. And so just kind of seeing her be like, I got to ask God, like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I'm kind of at a loss, It was just, I don't know, in a way that was just like really reassuring for me, because it's just like, okay, like I'm not up in the night, for no reason, like,
for sure.
Right.
not necessarily stressing, but just like trying to figure out, okay, God, like what's my next step? Like what's my next move? So I thought that I loved that conversation. You guys have had some really good guests.
We did.
So I'm
So
just saying,
sweet. Thank
like,
you.
you guys are doing so good. So
We're trying. There's some tears, Good tears.
Okay. Well,
This girl.
just kidding.
y'all ready for this?
There's nothing.
Okay.
They're in here.
She's like, it's in my phone.
Okay, so just to kind of like get to know a little bit about us.
I'm glad you said us, because I swear I thought she was about to say Rita.
I won't go there, Rita.
Okay.
Okay, so we are almost halfway in through the year
Already.
in a couple weeks. Crazy. So, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you have learned this year?
Wow. That's a good one.
Think about that, Jazz. You're next.
Jazz
Jazz is like, oh shoot,
me think about it.
I'm gonna go sit down.
Ooh, biggest lesson, guys. Okay, I am go. Anyone that knows Rita knows that I have an idea, I have a plan, I want to do something. I'm going to execute it, right?
Yeah.
It's happening, right? It's in my head. I'm passionate about it. And to a degree, that's really good, right? I've accomplished a lot of things in my life by not procrastinating. But I do struggle with patience, right? I struggle with people telling me maybe not right now, or Rita, maybe you should wait. And I'm just like, why? I'm the type of person that jump in the water and then learn how to swim. But I don't know if I really learn, because I'm already in there, I might drown.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
I feel like that's why you and I, though, we work well, because I'm more of like a girl, just chill.
she is.
It'll work out.
She is.
Just
And I'm like,
wait.
Sandra, she's like,
Rita.
pick up the phone now. I'm like, I called
girl,
you 6 times
It's
today.
okay. It's gonna work out. It's gonna be okay.
Yes.
But that's also for me. I get stuck there sometimes
Right.
in the waiting.
Right. I've learned to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to slow down. I've learned to put the important things first, right? And let everything kind of fall into place. So patience and diligence has been really hard for me, but that's where the trust in God comes from, right? And where I just am completely letting go and letting God, letting go and giving it to God. It's easier to do that because I know He has my back.
Right.
And I genuinely feel like I'm not going to fall. And if I do fall, I'm learning a lesson. I'm getting back up and I'm learning from that mistake. So just being patient and not wanting to be go, 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 go is what I've learned. And a lot of that, too, is from you. And I really just want to tell you thank you, because I do call you a lot and say, like, I'm stressed. Like I don't know what's going to happen. You're like, calm down, Rita. Remember to trust, right? So, like, the reinsurance from you, just God's got us. We're good, you know, because this is a brand new podcast. And, of course, we want it to be impactful and help impact and change people's lives. And so just to kind of be patient and let it come when it's supposed to, not make it happen. Blatantly self-sufficient. That's me.
I love it. But no,
More.
I would have to say the same thing, though, about you, is you definitely are very strong in the areas where I'm like, oh, boy. You know, I loved yesterday when you're like, girl, I'm going to need you to send me a picture of that message. And I'm like, She's like, I know you could be nice. And I was like, yeah.
Like, you need to be harsh today. I need you to be hard. She's like, huh? And I'm like, send the text message and then take a picture of it and send it to me so I know you sent it. She's like,
but yeah, and I struggle to have hard conversations sometimes, you know, and I love, that's something that I've learned this year is it's okay to be nice, and it's okay to be sweet and understanding and compassionate, but it's also okay to set your boundaries with that, you know, to give grace, but sometimes we do have to put up some boundaries, and I'm learning what that looks like, and I'm still afraid to do it, but I'm learning what that looks like.
yeah, I love that.
And I also have learned that not only is it, I need to like just shift the mindset of like it's bad, you know, and really see it for why it really is good to have certain boundaries up, you know.
Right.
So
Love
thank you. All right, Jazzy Jazz.
Jazz over here thinking like
No, so the biggest thing that I've learned these first 6 months of the year is I've gone to church pretty much all of my life. So just like how when you get older, how your relationship with your parents changes from like, you know, being super dependent to like now when you're older and you have your own kids, just kind of like talking to your parents, parent to parent, just trying to, you know, get questions answered, things like that. So in addition to that, though, it's like you kind of go through the same thing with God. Like as you mature and as you get older, he never changes. He's always the same. But it's just like your kind of outlook on your faith and on him has changed. So this is my first time ever doing this, reading through the Bible in a year.
Oh,
like I
fun.
challenged myself to start doing that. And so I'm like following this Bible plan because I was like, God, I want to get to know you like more because I know like head know about you.
Yes.
And on some level, I heart know about you, but just like all the intimate details, because sometimes you think of God as just this big entity that's just out there that like yeah, you know that he sent his son to die on the cross for you, you know that, you know, you're saved and you believe all of that, but there's other like little day-to-day details that you kind of struggle with sometimes like in your faith. So I was just like, God, I want to know you more, like on a personal level, like not just the God who saves me, like I want to know you, like on a deeper level. So like just doing that so far has changed my outlook on him and my relationship with him so much so far. And it's just like learning, you know, different questions to ask instead of just like looking at, you know, my small little chunk of my life and looking at like the bigger picture, like my impact on my friends, on my family, on my church community, things like that.
I love that. Thanks, Jazz.
Thanks for sharing.
Do you have any questions?
No,
She's like, I got nothing.
not today.
Y'all didn't let me prepare.
It's okay. It's okay. I got 16 more. What?
Just so you guys know, I blame Destiny for this. I know she's not sitting here right now. It's your fault.
Okay, let's see.
Great idea.
Okay, just okay. This would just be a little more like Just get to know you. Okay, what would be your dream vacation spot?
Oh.
Jazz?
For me, I definitely want to go to Greece and Italy. Like, those are my two. Like, I want it. Like, I've already been to one. One of them was the Bahamas. Did that last year. So, like, Greece and Italy. It's like...
I love that. I heard Greece is beautiful.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures of, like, friends that have
And
gone
Italy,
there.
I've heard really good things about Italy.
Love that.
Girl?
Me? Mm-hmm. I've already went to the Bahamas. It was fun. It was fun. I already did it. That's where I wanted to go. And my husband took me there 2 years ago. Where else? Probably Hawaii.
Yeah.
A lot of people went to Hawaii and love it. So, I mean, nothing crazy and big, just Hawaii.
Girl.
Yeah, tropical, right? I would say Hawaii because I've already been to the Bahamas. So. Yes.
Okay, girl.
Yes.
We love Hawaii.
What about you?
I feel like everybody already knows
I'm
this,
like,
but
should I say Bora Bora?
it's Bora Bora. Bora Bora, I'm coming for you.
She's coming.
2025.
I'm telling you, if anyone ever asks, where do you think Sandra want to go? I'm like, Bora Bora.
Yeah. What do you think Sandra wants for her birthday?
Bora Bora.
What about Christmas?
Bora Bora.
What about Valentine's Day?
Bora Bora.
What about any day? Okay. Bora Bora. Okay, so tell me about an experience that helped increase your faith.
Ooh. I have a lot of those. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a little personal. She would. She totally would. This girl. Y'all, I'm giving her the side eye right now. I'm going to go way back to my Kent folks' land.
Yes, yes you are.
I'm going to go back to Africa. I'm originally from Africa. The part of Africa I'm from is Monrovia, Liberia. You know, my mom just has always been about praying and getting on her knees. And I never really understood it until I grew up and was like, okay, it was God. Right now that I found God, I know. There was an incident back in Africa where the rebels would come through our village. And there's times we'll run and there's times like we'll stay. But this specific incident, like my mom was like, I'm tired of running from the rebels. Like I'm tired of being scared. And we are going to hold hands and pray. And in that moment, I thought she was crazy. I'm like, this woman's crazy. The rebels are coming through our village. They're coming through our village with guns, right? And she wants to hold hands and pray. You know, God is so good, and I'm really trying to hold it together here. So the rebels were coming through our village, and my mom held hands, and we prayed. We prayed, and in that moment, I was just there closing my eyes, and we were singing and holding hands, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. They came through and left, and we were still standing. And in that moment, I realized, like, that was God. That wasn't anything else. Just her faith, right?
Right.
And knowing that we were going to be safe no matter what. Knowing, like, not knowing the unexpected. Anything could have happened in that moment, but she trusted wholeheartedly. And we were okay. They came through the village, cleared out, and we were still standing.
I love that, Rita.
And it was powerful. And that is the moment I was like, wow, he's real.
And that is, I'm sure that at that age, because how old were you?
I don't remember.
Young.
I don't remember. I was very young. I don't.
But it
remember
was such an
specific age.
impactful thing that you, at such a young age, that you remember.
Yeah.
And those are the moments. I always think those are seeds.
Yes.
You know, those are the seeds that are like dropped,
Right.
you know, and then watered.
Right. And just to just have faith that nothing was going to happen, right? Just like we talk about trust and obedience and all of those things, like at that moment, like, you know, when everything was clear and we opened our eyes, I was like, she's not crazy no more. I always thought she was crazy.
It's like,
you know?
wow, like it worked.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's not crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there is something there, right? Like, when you're lacking faith, you're like, just like I said, you know, just like I said, we're so like independent, right?
Yeah.
And we want to fix it. And in that moment, we gave it to God. We let go and let God, and He did it.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah.
And so what a blessing, and that was very life-changing.
Do we dig more? Or no?
No, you're welcome. We're done.
Destiny's over there clapping.
I'm like, this girl.
We'll come back to more of that. But
We will have a day.
yes, we will. Jazz,
Just
You
don't
wanna-
answer her question. This girl.
Again, there's been just so many. So just no. I shouldn't do that. Diminish my own experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, so just an example was there was one time that I was just like looking for direction in the career field that I was working at, and the job that I was at was just not the best situation, and so I had like no idea what to do. And God gave me a dream, and I typically I'm not able to get like the interpretations for my own dreams. I normally have to be, go and talk to somebody. But with this dream, like it was so clear to me, just like the dream that He gave me. And I had never felt so certain about what moves I needed to take in my life.
Yeah.
Than when I woke up from that dream after asking God what to do. And once I did that, like so many doors opened up.
Oh, wow.
Like I needed to look for another job, and there were like several places that I really wanted to work at, and I got job offers from all of them. And, so I was able to just pick which place I wanted to go to. So just it may seem little, but like at the time when you're just kind of stressing and you're just like,
Yes.
God, like I can't be here no more. Like He'll show you like little things like that. So yeah, that was just one situation.
I love it.
I love that.
I love how
Direction
he
and
just-
guidance in your career
Yeah.
is, I think, I don't think it's a small thing, because I think we all
Right.
go through that where we're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
And it's such a powerful moment, and it's such a powerful question, because that's our livelihood. We're going to be spending most of our time doing it,
Right.
So we don't want to do something that
Or be in a
isn't
place
gonna-
that's not
Yeah.
fulfilling and that's
Exactly.
not, where God wants you to be. So.
Right.
for sure.
I love
I
it.
love it. Good job.
Yes. Oh, no, wait a minute.
Next question.
No. I know you didn't just pick up your phone. Put it down. Put it down. You're next.
All right, what was the
This girl,
question?
she's trying to be like, good job. She grabs her phone.
Okay. Tell me about an experience that
No,
helped
no,
increase
no.
your faith. Okay. No, I was just rereading my question.
I'm like, she's really
I think for me, there's been so many experiences. I think we'll have to go back, same thing, to to kind of like the beginning. When I knew I had to be out of a certain relationship, right? And this person, they ended up in the hospital. And I just remember thinking, they ended up in the hospital because they got really sick. They got meningitis, and it went into the brain and like all that jazz. And it wasn't a good situation. And I remember I was just super fresh into like dipping kind of like in and out of church, like, oh, what a beautiful feeling, but like still like partying on the weekends. And like, I remember one time I went to church and no, it wasn't even church. I was really broken at this moment, and I called my mom's friend, and this lady, she's the most amazing lady, and she was that lady that she'll pray for you, right? But at my young age, I was like, oh, here she comes, like I gotta go, like ain't got time for this. I remember I was going to a Big Sean concert one time, and she shows up, and I was like, oh, gotta go, I have a concert. And so I left. But in my most broken moment, I I didn't even call my mom. I didn't call anybody that I was like really close to. I called her because I remember thinking, I've tried so many things to fill this hole in this void. But I called her because in that moment, the Holy Spirit brought back to my remembrance all of the times that she would pray for me, all of the times that she would pour life into me. And that was the only person that really like came to mind to call. And she quickly was like, okay, here's what you're going to do. Because she's just very like down to business, right? She's like, you're going to meet me at the McDonald's that's right there by the freeway exit, which is just right here. And she's like, and don't bring nobody with you. Don't bring the baby with you. Because my son was like, I don't know, like a year old at the time. And I show up to McDonald's thinking like, okay, we're going to maybe grab a bite. No, we did not grab a bite. And we sit in the little booth and she like asked me if I want to accept the Lord as my personal savior. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I remember thinking like we're praying and I'm like just broken in a hot mess. And I get in the car and I'm like, okay, Lord, if you're real, I just want you to know that like I have this party this weekend, but like after this weekend, like I promise, like I'm gonna be good.
I'm gonna be good. How many times have we all said that?
Yeah. And it's so crazy because in that moment I remember just like God moving me from the inside out, right? And that's kind of how he works. He starts cleaning up from the inside out. And so a few months later, I'm still not like seriously into church, you know, but have accepted Christ. I'm like moving along. And the seed has been sown, right? And so accepted at that point. And so fast forward, I am leaving this relationship, right? He ends up getting meningitis. He's in the hospital. And I remember sitting outside the hospital or outside the room and just praying. And I was like, Lord, like, don't let anything happen to him. Like, I promise I will go to church this weekend. You know, it was one of those like if you do this, I'll do this, right. You know, like I think we've all had a prayer like that. Like, yes. Like, Lord, if you get me out of this one,
please, like just I gotta make it out of this one.
And I just remember just praying and feeling an overwhelming peace, like so crazy that the doctor came out and said, because at this moment we didn't know he had meningitis. I actually thought he like committed suicide for a minute there, but the doctor comes out and he's like, oh, he has meningitis. It's in his brain. It's going to affect his, it's going to affect him when he wakes up. We don't know how much damage it's done to the brain because he had gone all night seizing and like, it was bad. And so, after praying and having that overwhelming peace, I just looked at that doctor and I was like, the Lord said he's going to be okay. Aww, you know, like everything he would tell me, he said he's not going to wake up for a week. He'll be in the hospital for maybe about a month or longer. And I was like, okay, but he's going to be fine, you know? And I remember the second day the doctor says something about like, it's like really like affected his brain. They did like a CT scan and all this stuff. And he's like, he might not be able to like walk or talk. And I was like, no, like the Lord said he's going to be okay, you know? And I just held on to that because it was so overwhelming. And I just remember the Lord clearly hearing and hearing a voice tell me he's going to be okay. And from this moment forward, you guys are going to grow you guys will grow from this moment forward. Now, mind you, I thought we were going to grow together and better and bigger and like beautiful. No, that's not what he meant. but
misinterpretation.
Yes. The Lord said, I didn't say together. I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, he gets out of the hospital like 2 weeks later, I think. He woke up on the third day. He gets out of the hospital. He did have some trouble like brain fog, you know, but like nothing major like the doctor was saying.
Look at that.
Hospital bills were paid for as well. Like he didn't have insurance either at the time. And I remember this was just such a beautiful moment. So we're sitting at the park and I remember him saying something, and it's crazy because I always want to like ask him again, like, hey, will you tell me that story again? Because like it's so pretty. But I remember him telling me that he saw me. He's like, I don't know if this was a dream or if I really saw this. And so he kind of hesitated to tell me in the beginning. But then when he told me, I was like, oh my gosh. He said, I remember seeing you outside of the room and you were praying, and then I saw somebody that was dressed completely like just all in white, and he's like, I thought it was a nurse or like a doctor or something, and they came up to you and they sat with you and they gave you a hug. And I was like, what? And so I seriously was just like, oh my gosh, like there was a moment where I was praying and I felt like so much peace, and I heard a voice tell me that you were going to be okay. And I there's been so many moments, but that's one of the moments that I cherish so much in my heart, because I don't know, like I was like, you are not crazy. Like, you know, you were not dreaming.
That
like
was confirmation.
That really, yes, that confirmation of God really is there and he really is with us, you know? And there was just, like you said, like no denying, you know, what had happened.
Right.
So yeah.
I love it. Good job.
Thanks. Okay. Praise God. Okay. So, what is something?
Did you come up with these last night?
I did. I
Oh
was
my
thinking about
gosh.
these. What is something that I lost it. Okay. What is something you know God is telling you to do in life, but you either doubt it, you're stalling, you're afraid, or you don't believe you can do it?
Y'all gotta come back to me. Look at me now.
Jazz?
That's a good one. That's a really good question.
Because I do believe that sometimes we know what we need to do. I think we know what our next step is. I think, but we will procrastinate for a reason.
Ooh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You
Well,
feel
'cause
me,
sometimes
crowd?
it's just like,
Right, Jose?
He's like, y'all are too much.
Jose is leaving us. I just want to.
So you guys know. I'm putting it out there
I just
all
want to
over the
thank
world.
Jose for all of our setup.
Yes. We're kind
He's
of
on
sassy.
to new adventures.
So nice.
He's blushing. Thank you, Jose. Okay. We're back.
Wow, that's a really good
it
question.
is. It is.
Well, why don't you go first, Miss Fernandez?
We can come back. We can circle back. How about we circle back?
Let's
Let's circle back.
That's a deep one.
Ooh, girl.
Or you just, I should add in there, don't want to talk about it because it's scary to even say it out loud, right?
Well, because I feel like sometimes like we're not honest with ourselves about things. Like you just kind of like you think about the things that you have to do, and then if it's something that you really don't want to do or you're afraid to do, you just kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
it's
You
like
kind of put it away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like you're not completely honest with yourself sometimes. And
Right.
So like it takes a minute.
Yeah.
to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That's very true. Very true.
Sometimes-
Being
yeah,
honest,
it's true.
sitting with ourselves.
Yep.
That's hard, but it's powerful.
It is powerful.
It is.
Yesterday, I found myself like not being able to sit with myself, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like what is going
Weirdest
on?"
thing. And like one of
Yeah.
my girlfriends was telling me, she's just like, you are the only person that is with you 24/7. Aside
Yes.
from God, you are with you 24/7. So you have to be comfortable.
How
being
do you
by
sit with yourself?
Being in your own.
Let's go
It's rough. Like,
It is rough.
because sometimes you're just like, I don't know, like you think about some of your behaviors and you're just like there's some things that you know that you need to change and you know how to change it. And then there's other things that
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't know what to do with that. What do I do with that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I always jot it down, and I'm like, I should probably just bring this up in therapy or something.
Right.
Somebody help.
When I took the emotionally healthy spirituality class,
That's a good class too.
that class, yeah.
I think I'm the only. Have you
I'm
taken
just
it?
like, who are you?
But in
Okay.
all honesty, like when I took it, just
Yeah.
sidebar, you have to make sure that you are ready to go there.
I'm ready.
Because when I took it, like I did the relational one first.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, instead of like, and I knew God was just like, okay, like you need to take a beat
Yeah.
and work on this stuff that you learned first.
Yeah.
Don't just fast forward. And I didn't listen, and I just fast forwarded and went into the EHS. So I was not ready for
She's
it. I
like-
need to do it again.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot.
It's layers, though. It's definitely layers.
Yeah.
It is.
So.
No, I know. I definitely agree because when I took that class, I wasn't ready for it. And I think one of the biggest like impact was going back to go forward, right? Like
Yeah.
you need to go back, right? And really look deep within yourself, right? And like you said, like sit with yourself, like, and accept those things, right? Take ownership before you can move forward. And,
for sure.
you know, I've always been this person where like, let's go forward. Like I don't want to take step backwards. Like I need to go forward. If I take step backwards, that means I'm failing. That means I haven't grown. And that class completely changed my perspective. I was able to go back and really dig deep and find out what was going on with me. I had to sit with myself and just like really like figure out the truth and sit in that.
And that's hard.
And take that and cry and pray and, you know, doing that, letting it all out. Like what, like if it was like a lie I said and I had to go tell somebody, hey, I lied about this, right? Or just being honest, just completely honest with yourself, letting it go, being free of it. You know, sometimes we're not free of it and that's why we can't move forward. And that's why there's a block in our lives. And once like I was able to do that, it was easier to move forward.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Because if you don't confront it, it gets you stuck.
Right.
Like you will stay there for a minute.
Right.
I'd say I'm like that.
No,
I like to roll in it a little bit.
And just like, or sometimes like you said, like, I feel like, and another thing I learned from that class is that I subliminally take stuff and just like put it away, right? Or I don't want to think about it, like, and I just kind of hide it, you know? And that was able to help me get it out, right? And it doesn't have to be that class. It could be any class, right? Or, but just like being able to dig deep and those things that you store that you're hiding or you don't want to confront, it forced you to confront those things.
And how powerful is it to give those things a voice and to let it out? And
scary.
It is so scary.
It is
but
scary, but it's very powerful.
It is.
Very
and
freeing.
Once you've done that and you face all of that, it's like, just like I said, I'm sooner like, I feel free, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to
like
hide.
lightweight.
Right.
Yes.
You don't have to hide in your lies and like whatever secrets you have. Like and when we went to the women's retreat, I walked into that building and I was just like, the first thing that hit me was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I living this worldly world? Like, why am I not living for God?
Right.
You know, it just, that hit me really hard. And it hit me like, I called my husband, I was like,
and I think that's so
am I
powerful
doing?
though, because it's in the world that we live in, sometimes it is hard to live out your faith publicly, you know, but when you hide that part of you, it's a huge part of you. It's uncomfortable. You know, and it's not like a good growing uncomfortable. It's like an inauthentic uncomfortable, you know.
We're scared what people are going to think. And that was one of my fears.
Yeah.
I'll be completely transparent. Like, you know, hanging out with friends and drinking and partying. Pool parties, you know. We're going to have good pool parties this year. Sober. But, like, you know, it really was a fear of like, okay, you know, you guys are doing this. Like, what are people going to think? Because this is who you were before, you know, like, what are people going to think? And of course, people are going to judge, like, well, I've hung out with her or I've done stuff with her, you know, but that was then. This is now.
Right.
You know, I'm a different person now. And, you know, and I got to the point where I'm just like, I completely trust God and I want to live for him. And I'm not going to hide no more. I'm not going to hide who I am and my love for God. Like, who cares? Criticize me.
Yeah.
Call me whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
I am happy and comfortable in the space that I'm in right now.
Right.
And that is something.
And it's
that I'm gonna
always
continue to
evolving and growing as well.
And you know what?
'Cause,
I might make a mistake.
Girl.
Right? But
come
guess
on.
what? Grace. Right? Because we're human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I heard this one time I went to hear this pastor talk, and just remember it was like before I got like into the church and stuff, and it was funny because he made such an impact because he was just so himself when he was preaching, and he said, you can take the Israelites out of Egypt, but sometimes you can't take Egypt out of the Israelites. I'm
You
like,
better preach,
girl,
Pastor.
you can take them out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the
Because
hood.
when the music play, you still gonna be one to
Pop,
you
lock,
know?
and drop it.
Yeah.
You still know how to Dougie.
Let me just turn around for a minute. You know, it's like when I'm in the gym.
That Salt Shaker song.
And
Yeah.
there's this one song that comes on, and I'm like, Rita, keep control. Wait a minute, don't do it.
Squatted like it's hot. Yeah. Girl.
Silly.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress.
We're still a work in progress. We're not perfect, but
No.
we're on the right track. So
Nope. And, what is perfection? I think everybody defines perfection differently, and so you guys are all doing amazing.
Yes. So are you. Okay, good questions. Good job. I was a little skeptical, but
Okay, so what does, on the same kind of like topic of evolving and stuff, what does personal growth look like for you?
ooh, that's a good one. Ooh. I am at a point. So before, I was always afraid of failure. I was always afraid of failure. Like when I fail, I was like, oh, here we go. I almost felt like I had to like start over. And I've learned that I don't have to do that. It's okay to fail.
Right.
And so personal growth for me is learning, like being okay with failing, right? And then learning from that and keep moving forward.
How do you learn to be okay with failing? Like, how did you learn that?
I think it's with my trust in God. Trust in that.
I almost think like you have to factor that in.
Right.
Like factor it in.
Right.
Like
you're gonna fail. Like,
and
this is
sometimes
what's gonna
when you're
happen.
in it though, when you're in it, it still doesn't even feel like failure.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like when you're riding a bike and you fall, it's almost like that doesn't mean you failed. It just
Right.
means you fell.
Right.
And so sometimes for me, sometimes when I think of failure, I think of all the worst possible outcomes. You know what I mean? But then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've actually like fallen so many
and not
times.
fail.
And I have grown through those experiences, but it wasn't that scary.
Yeah.
But yet in our mind, the perception of failure in these scenarios is like,
It's all different.
it's huge,
We
It's
put all
like,
these unrealistic expectations on
Yes.
ourselves. Like you have to be at this level.
yeah, I do that a
24/7.
lot. I do it a lot. I really do. And then I get stressed out and then I cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, and then I cry.
I'm like, I know the cycle.
It's just happening. Yeah, for me, like failure was like you're done. Like you got to start over. You're done. Like if something didn't go right, then that's it.
Yeah.
And I think personal growth is learning that it's okay
Yeah.
to fail. And just like you said, like you almost want to factor it in. It's okay to take a step back, to take
Right.
2 steps forward. It's
Yeah.
okay to move slow. Personal growth for me.
Girl, it's okay to crawl.
It's okay to crawl. Okay.
And then eventually you get the confidence to stand up, to walk, to run, to jump, to
Yeah.
sprint.
And that's a big deal because I'm like, I want to win. I want to be number one. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm competitive, okay?
Yeah.
You know that. So that's growth. The kids mess up the house. I'm like, I ain't even mad. Kind of.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm walking out the house right now.
Pick up the son. What about you, Jazz?
Like for me, it's just seeing how I react to different situations. Like
yeah.
I'll go through something and I'll be like, you know what, a month ago, if that would have happened, I
Yeah.
would have been like laid out, or I would have been like yelling and screaming, or I would have been
Yes, for
crying and
sure.
just snotting all everywhere. But like, no, like I handle this completely different. Or like even if I do go there, like, okay, you didn't stay there as long. Like you were able to pick yourself
Yeah.
up
Yes.
and like move forward a lot sooner than you typically would have. So that's, for me, like I have to look at it that, because there are some moments where like you're going through something and you have to like just take it minute by minute. You know what I mean? And so just to look back and be like, oh, okay, like I handled that differently. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So that's how
I
I
love
look
that.
at personal growth.
I love that. I could definitely say that I have experienced that too. Where, yeah. Especially sometimes when especially when you have when you have that relationship with God and he shows you almost like a different perspective of the situation, and there'll be people that are like, what, how could you even think like that, or how could you forgive this person? And it's like, well, really, like, think like they're also going through something, you know. And yeah, okay, forgiveness, that's a big topic. We should talk about that one day.
Yes, that's a good one.
Okay, so with Rita, I know you're happily married right now, but Jazz, are you single?
I am.
She's single. She is single. Are you ready to mingle? Are you mingling?
Right now, no. Like,
No,
Jasmine's
okay.
taking a break for herself.
Jasmine is taking a break, y'all.
I like
She is not
that.
mingling.
I need to. I need it.
You said that with such confidence.
Yeah.
It took a while to get there. It took a
Yeah.
while. Yeah, but I'm there now.
I love it.
I love it.
I'm there. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good that I'm there.
Yes.
Right.
I love that. I love that for you, because that's amazing. It's a good space to be in, that like you moment, you and God, you know. Okay, so have you ever felt alone? And if so, how do you deal with loneliness?
Oh,
Whether, because like we're all kind of in different phases of life.
right.
Rita, you were married, but at one point you were also single, a single mom, you know. You're a single mama. I'm a single mama.
You know,
But even single or not single, I do believe you could feel lonely.
well, and I was just going to say that just because I'm married doesn't mean I haven't
Right.
had moments that I felt alone, you know. And a lot of that has to do with me inside, right? And the things that I'm going through. You know, like they say, you can have the big house and the flowers and the $1 million,
Right,
but
absolutely.
you're still lonely inside
Yeah.
because you haven't dealt with you. And I will say, you know, 3 years ago, and this is right after, like, I had Donovan, right? Like, my baby's 3 now. He's not a baby. He's bigger than your average 3-year-old. Loud
so
and
cute.
He's so
has a
cute.
lot
I
of
love him.
personality. But after I had him, I just like felt empty. And it's like, I was like, Lord, how can I feel so empty after I've just like brought this beautiful blessing into the world?
I remember that.
You remember
Yeah.
that, right? Just like so
Just going through a
empty.
phase.
Yeah. Just so alone. And one of the things that I do best, and I will say this, is, you know, even throughout my life when I had a relationship with God or not, I get on my knees and pray. That is just something I know, right? And I learned that from my mom.
Right.
I'm obviously, she
Yes.
prays for everything. Mom, I have a problem, pray.
We're going to have her on the show one day.
You know?
Mama, we need you.
Right? And I got through that by just getting on my knees and saying, Lord, whatever this feeling is, I know it's not you, right? I know I'm not alone. I know you're here, so help me feel.
Yeah.
And I think even at that point, too, I had just a lot I was dealing with from my past, right? You know, especially when you have kids, you guys know a lot of things come up,
Yeah.
right? And when you're getting older and wiser, right?
Yeah.
Me, no.
These gray hairs.
Right? You tend to, you know, see life in a different light. And just getting on my knees and praying kind of got me out of that spot. And, you know, obviously there's postpartum, right? And things that come with it. But after I had Donovan, I felt so alone. Like just emptiness and no joy. And it really bugged me because I have this beautiful baby that God has blessed me with, this angel. And, you know, he was able to help get me out of that.
That's a
Through
real
prayer.
thing, though. And I feel like as moms, we all go through, well, sometimes we do go through those moments after giving birth, you know, where you're a little confused because you're like, okay, I just brought in life. Like,
Yeah.
this is my child. This is my baby. Like,
Right.
you know, but yet inside it's, I don't know what it is, hormones, I don't know, girl, but it's a very like low moment,
Yeah.
you know, and but it's also a very transitioning
Yes.
transitioning moment, you know. How do you guys, so we're all women, so how do you guys, and moms here, but how do you guys not lose yourself while parenting, working, being a wife, doing you?
I'm like, that's hard.
Like, how do you guys?
I think I've lost myself a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I'm like, I don't know if I haven't ever, you
Right,
know.
yeah.
Go ahead, Justin.
but then it's just like for me, oh gosh. I think you just go through your ups and downs, like it ebbs and flows. Like there are some times that you were just like, okay, like I still maintain my sense of identity. Like I'm not just Dre's mom. I'm not just, so-and-so's daughter. I'm not just that, like, you're able to keep your identity. But I think that it's really hard, and I think that there are moments that life will like bring you kind of to your knees where you have to just kind of like recenter yourself on who you are, not just be so caught up in like everyday life.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and not
for
just
sure.
be so caught up in things. And then too, just like praying a lot and just, spending time with God, like that kind of helps recenter me too. Like when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, I was not the best at it. I'm still not the best at it, but I'm a lot better. But it's just like you still just go through those moments where you do just kind of lose yourself, but then like something will happen and then you'll just hear like God whisper in your ear, and then it'll just kind of like recenter you and refocus you. So then that way, because it's really easy to just get lost in all of that. And then I feel like, especially as a single parent, sometimes that can make you be kind of resentful. Like, this is all that I am. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Right.
You can get resentful. And so just
lose ourselves in our kids.
Exactly. And in your career and things like that. And so just, I know everything just sounds like it's centered around God, but it really is.
It is.
Because He's the one that helps me focus on things like that. He's the one that brings me back around to like, this is who you are. Right. So then that way I'm not lost in all of that. And I don't resent whatever life is throwing at me.
Yeah.
I love that. And just piggybacking off of what you said, Tia gave a talk at Women's Conference about your cup being filled.
Yes.
And that really resonated with me because us as moms, right? I'm married, single, whatever. We're constantly giving and doing, right?
Yeah.
And we're even doing it when our cup isn't filled, right?
Yeah.
How are you able to give to others when you don't have enough yourself?
Yeah, totally.
And that hit me really hard. Like, how am I going to give love to my husband and my kids and my mom and my friends and my brother and everyone else, right? Because I'm a people person. And like when I'm not where I need to be. So, the last 2 years, I really been working on making sure that my cup is filled, right? Which is like, I love the gym, right? That's me time. I love salmon.
Yeah, you do, girl.
Okay. I think I have like...
I don't like ordering salmon whenever I go somewhere, but she does.
I order salmon all the time, just so you know.
I'm like, I just want the steak.
I made sure. I remember...
And the Brussels sprouts.
Yes. I remember one month my husband was like, babe, you've had salmon for lunch.
Oh,
like,
almost every day? Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll stop.
She goes to Longhorn. They're like, the salmon?
They're like,
She's
hey,
oh, yeah.
But just doing the things that I enjoy, because if my cup is filled and I'm doing things to make myself feel good, then I'm able to, like, my cup is overflowed, then I'm able to give that love to, my husband and my kids and everyone else around me. So I've really worked hard at making sure that my cup is full. Yeah. Right? Because I'm not able to stretch myself that much if it's not. You become depressed and then resentful, right? And it's just a bad role. So ladies out there, everyone, not just ladies, like, make sure your cup is filled.
You have to make you a priority.
Yes, put yourself a priority. You're absolutely right. Then you're able to give to others.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So great.
Yeah. Good job.
You're welcome.
She's like, thank you. You're welcome. She's like, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right.
So.
Is this our last question? She's all looking. I'm like, how many questions is in there?
She probably got a grip.
Right?
Okay.
Talk about, I don't know which one to ask.
So, we'll ask what we usually ask. I'll save these for next time.
The end of season 2. We'll do this again.
So, what would be something that you guys live by that has helped you throughout your life, that you live by, that you would like to leave our audience with? Destiny, we need you in the crowd always. I love how hype she is over there.
The best. The best.
Oh gosh, something that like you just live your life by, like just that God is for me and He's with me, and He's not against me, and that I'm loved, and that I'm accepted, and that I'm seen for who I am by Him. Like that's what I do. I have to live my life by that because, like, unfortunately, I can be kind of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And
I
so
think
just
that's
like sometimes
so
just
normal.
yeah, it's just like if you don't get that affirmation from other people, like you start to tear yourself down or you start to do like destructive things to get that. And so like that's one thing that like I am still working on. And also one of your other guests said this, and I completely agree. He said, "You are enough."
Yeah.
And that's just, that was like a beautiful statement
yeah.
to me. So yeah.
Shout out to Steven.
Yes. Jasmine, I don't know if I could beat that. I'm joking. No.
She's like, actually.
No. Don't be afraid to show the world who you really are. Don't be afraid to show the world who you really are. I think we hide ourselves based on what we think others are going to think, you know, and what we think others are going to say, like the criticism that you're not enough. Like, don't be afraid. There's no fear because life is short, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't know what tomorrow brings. That's why we have God and we trust Him, but just don't be afraid to show the world who you really are, because you're probably a really amazing person and you have a lot to share, and there's someone out there that needs that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's what I would say.
There you have it, folks.
This girl is always trying to skip a question. I just hope you're noticing that.
I'm seeing it.
And that's it, folks.
That's it, folks. That's the end of the show. No, I think for me, something that I live by that has helped me throughout my life, there's been a couple things. One of them, to keep it super short, is there's always 3 sides, right, to every story. We hear that. And I think for me, something that has really helped me throughout life is to be able to see other people's perspective of where they're coming from, to extend the same grace that I've been extended as well. And one of the biggest things that has always helped me, I think it's in Luke, but I think I've shared it on another show before. And it's, if you can be faithful over the small, then you can be trusted with more, right? And
like
so
it.
that's always been something that I have always reminded myself of when I didn't want to take out the garbage. It's like, if you could take out the garbage in somebody else's location, then you could be faithful over your own location. You know what I mean? If you can be faithful over their business, you can be faithful over your own. If you could be faithful over $1, you could be faithful over 100. If you could be faithful over 100, you could be trusted with more. You know, and that just kind of goes along the lines with like order. And I feel like God's always like, because my life is a little chaotic, but bringing it back to order, right? And I think that that's been super impactful, and something that the Lord has continuously helped me to learn is order. You know, like, yeah, order, finances. Even in my eating, like there's times like I'm like very into like emotional eating, and we're working on that.
She's like,
But like even being faithful over that, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's just something that the Lord's always been working with me in. But yeah, if you can be faithful over the small, then you can be faithful over more.
I love it. I like
There
that.
you have it,
Yay.
folks. That is the end of the show.
Remember to be bold.
Be brave and
Be
better.
Dad was like, y'all looking at me? No, yeah.
We didn't rehearse this.
I'm like, come on,
Jasmine.
I'm sorry.
Bye,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.